Hi guys, alright. Luxura Moon Goddess, and today I wanted to talk about romanticism through fantasy. So yes, romanticism through fantasy, and I'm going to show y'all actually a method that I've discovered on how, and this can help you romanticizing your own life or even yourself. So let's get into it and let's talk about this today. So, romanticism through fantasy. So, the power of imagination. If you are very, very creative, your imagination can truly be very powerful. So, you want to imagine, you want to fantasize, you want to visualize your life. And when we think of romanticism through the power of fantasy, fantasy can especially be helpful for if you're also into manifesting. The power of fantasy in your imagination can especially help you with manifesting. So, when you romanticize yourself or your life, think of it as, because I mentioned in one of my previous videos about main character energy, you want to see yourself as, yes, a character. Think of yourself, seeing yourself from even like a third person point of view. You are a character in like a TV show, a novel, a movie, da 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 da. So that's what you want to see yourself as. And speaking on that, you want to see it as through that. You are a character, you are the star. So, with that being said, I'm going to show you a method that can help you envision and romanticize your life and yourself. So, let's say, for example, and what you'll need for this is a spare notebook because you're going to want to write something down. And it's a method that I've used to help me. So, for example, let's say we want to romanticize your life, we want to make it more interesting, or what have you. So, for example, we're going to write down, let's see, making, let's start with an example. Let's say you're in your car, you're riding somewhere, and you want your car ride to be more magical, more fun, or what have you. So, making a car ride more enjoyable, or we'll say more magical. So, this first method is just going to be like a little brainstorming thing. So you want to ask yourself, okay, well, because, we get stuck in traffic, going to work, if you have kids, picking up your kids from school, and, especially if you're living in a very large major city, traffic can be so daunting and annoying at times. So, what can we do to make it more enjoyable, or more magical, or more pleasant, since we know that being stuck in traffic is probably one of the last things you want to be bothered with? So, some ideas. Well, for example, playing music in the car. Everybody's playing music in the car, of course. So, you can get, and instead of just listening to whatever's on the radio, you can get, for example, get your favorite playlist, for example. Or even if you do have a favorite radio station that you listen to, or some people have streaming, Apple CarPlay, whatever it is that you're listening to in a car. Get your favorite artists. So that's one thing that you can do. Another way, if we wanted to make a car ride more enjoyable, let's say, it's a nice, beautiful day outside. Of course, you don't want to be driving in bad weather where it's rainy or stormy. Or, I know we recently just had an ice storm at the time of this video. But drive on a nice, sunny, beautiful day. So that's another thing. Drive on a nice, sunny, beautiful day. Yes. What else could we do? Well, if your car has a sunroof, or you own a convertible, or even if you don't have a sunroof or a convertible, open the windows. So that's another thing you'll be able to do. Open windows, sunroof, etc. So, and basically the gist of this, for example, we can see because it's backward, but you want to have a spare notebook, and this is just one way. So, the gist is you want to brainstorm, and when you brainstorm using this method, this is going to give you ideas, especially if you don't know where to start on how to romanticize, or you don't know where to really begin with your, if your life, you think your life is mundane, boring. This is just going to give you ideas to brainstorm as a starting point. So, what else could we do for a car ride? Well, if we talked about if it's sunny outside, you're driving on a nice day, you can throw on your favorite pair of shades. So yes, or even, and I know some cars will have like that little compartment where you can place your sunglasses and leave them, in the car as well. So, what else could you do? Cleaning and washing your car. Think about it this way with that idea. You want to, especially, I know some of y'all, if y'all are single, you're driving around, especially single ladies, you drive around, make sure your car is clean, both inside and out. And I'll tell you why that is, especially for when you're single, is you never know who you may run into when you're out and about. And that's another form of romanticism. You could be out and about looking cute as well, especially when you're out on a car ride. That's another idea. Make sure you're dressed cute. Let me write that down as well. Dress cute. Yes. Because, and think about it this way, with that being said, you don't know who you may run into, your future husband or some attractive man, or even a celebrity. You just never know. Depending on where you live, you may actually meet a celebrity or get lucky, or even if you don't meet a celebrity, you don't know who you may run into nowadays. That's why I'm always looking cute. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, I'm big on clothes, accessories, da 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 da. So, look nice. Okay, so what else could we do to romanticize a car ride? Well, if we're speaking of the vehicle and the car that you have, and I don't have the most fanciest, richest car in the world, but car accessories. Decorate your car with cute accessories. Yes. And sometimes, especially depending on where you're at in life, even if you don't have your dream car yet, even if you're just starting out, having car accessories, sometimes that gives you a little boost. It makes you happier. You're like, oh, well, I've got this cute, like the steering wheel covers that they sell. You can get those at like Walmart, Amazon, probably certain auto stores, da 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 da. Or even like you'll see some people where the license plate is, they'll have the little bling bling around their license plate. So, even that, just doing something as simple as that can transform your experience, because especially when you think about, some people like to cruise around in their car. It's like, oh yes, my beautiful car. It's nice and decorated. It has this bling bling on it and da 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 da. And when you do things, even little things like this, it makes you look forward to the car ride, to using your car, to getting in your car. Because, my car is beautiful, my car is nice, my car is clean, da 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 da. So even that will give you something to look forward to. So anyway, More on the power. Now, this is another, because that was just part one. Now, the next thing, this is where the true fantasy comes in mind. I call this method, the second part, character. I'll write this down. Character Romanticism. So, and this is where, and with character romanticism, I recently started using this for it's backward. I usually use this one recently for manifesting. So, what do I mean by character romanticism? You want to, and especially if you're someone who's into writing or likes to write like stories, fictional stories, this is what can help you. So, and I've already got an example of this one that I can share with you. So, with that being said, what is an example of character romanticism? So, still talking about the car ride, this is what you'll do. You want to write beforehand. Again, it's almost like writing a short story. Now, it doesn't have to be a full-blown story, because that's going to take too much time, unless you want it to be a full-blown story. But, character romanticism. So, making the car ride more magical. So let me read to you that I have in here, my spiritual journal, an example of this. So, yes. I just finished washing the Enterprise, which is just a nickname for a car, because, some people do name their cars. And I'm about to go for a little drive on this beautiful day. I just bought a car freshie, and my car smells absolutely fabulous. Let me open the sunroof. The warm sun rays feel so good on my skin. As I drive, I got my favorite Toni Braxton CD in. Now, I sound old if I'm talking about CDs in the car, but that's for another day. But, and so I got my favorite Toni Braxton CD in, and my mind feels like I'm transported to a 90s pool party on this summer day. Let me pull out my sunshades and cherish this sunny drive. So, with that being said, so that's the end of it. And when you write like this, even the language, think about when you're romanticizing through character romanticism, you're writing it as if you're writing a story. Diction. Diction is very important, and diction is just like your word choice. So we're talking about, like, for example, where I'm talking about, oh, my car smells absolutely fabulous, or, oh, I'm feeling the warm sun rays against my skin, and, oh, I've got my Toni Braxton CD and I'm transported to a 90s pool party. Even the words and the language that you're using when you're writing and you're doing this, you want to be mindful of your diction, because even the language that you're using, that's going to be romanticizing as well. We're talking about a throwback 90s pool party, like we're kids again or whatever. So, it creates nostalgia. It sounds fun. Da 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 da. So, when you're romanticizing your life and you're using this method, be mindful of the diction and your word choice when you're writing this down. Now, taking it a step further, and again talking about diction, another thing that you can do with character romanticism, if you could even write it because you want to see yourself, and it's easier for me, and I've done this before, because when I was younger, I used to create fictional characters and draw a lot. You could even write from a different perspective, like, for example, and I used to use this for situations like, oh, well, if I have this problem, what would, such and such do? What would, this character do? See it as that. How would this character be spending her day? How would this character, be making something more enjoyable? How would this character be having fun, on their day off? So you could actually also write it using a fictional character or a fictional name or what have you. And even if you don't know how to imagine in that way, creating a character or using a character's name or what have you, you can use, for example, let's say maybe it's a certain celebrity that you like. Think about it. Think as if you're like Beyonce. You know, think as if, how would Beyonce be enjoying her day, or George Michael, or, you could even use that. Another thing you can do as well, if you don't want to go that route, you can just use something as simple as she and da 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 da. So, she spends her time, she spends her spare time basking in the moonlight or what have you. So even something like that, you can say she is, you know, or she was as beautiful as, as a goddess or what have you. So you can even do she is, he is, da 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 da. So this is just in a way, and this is my method, and I especially have been using this for manifesting. So even with this method of romanticism, this can especially help you with manifesting because I've already been using it and it's helping me manifest being able to romanticize more in my life. So I just wanted to share that with y'all today. And so if you have any questions or anything else on character romanticism or romanticism in general, leave comments below. I can answer those questions. Da, 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 da. So just wanted to share that with y'all today. And, I'm going to end it right here. And I will see y'all on the next one. All right. Check you later. Bye bye.